Alright, welcome back to BrainFLoTv / Hot Topics TV. You already know if the topic is hot, we're on it. Look, this case right here, this case needs to be thrown out. I'm going to keep on saying it over and over again. Ever since YSL Woody took the stand, and obliterated their case, okay? Woody basically made fun of the whole judicial system in Atlanta, Georgia, and exposed how shaky this case is. Nothing that was said is reliable. In other words, then, the person that is known as Young Thug, they just need to let him go. Jeffrey Lamar Williams needs to be let go. But here's one more win for Jeffrey's team and one more big L as a loss for the Atlanta judicial system, the prosecution. Listen, do y'all remember when that Judge Granville, the black dude with the one earring and the dog, do you remember when he held Young Thug's attorney in contempt of court and then sentenced him to jail time? I ain't never seen no shit like this before. You sentence a attorney to jail time, but he is free. So he would remain free to try the case during the week, and then on the weekends, he was expected to check into jail to do jail time and be locked up for the weekend, and then released at the end of the weekend to go back to representing his client during the week in court. I don't know what Judge Granville was thinking, but we knew that he was wrong. And we knew that he was wrong because of how it went down. Judge Granville had a meeting, an ex parte meeting with Woody and Woody's attorney's representative's lawyer behind the back of YSL, or behind the back of Young Thug and Young Thug's attorneys. Now, Woody represents the state. He was their key witness. So if the state's key witness and his attorney is meeting privately with the judge, everybody could see how a bias relationship could be developed, so that when the judge goes to court, he'll be ruling in favor of his friends that he's been meeting privately with, right? Right. So Young Thug's attorney got eyes and ears everywhere. By the way, Young Thug's attorney, Brian Steele, is not your average run-of-the-mill attorney. You are talking about the top attorney, if not in the entire USA, when it comes to doing these cases, criminal cases. So Jeffrey, who is Young Thug, he got the best of the best. Now, when Judge Granville sentenced that attorney, Brian Steele, I said, damn, he fucked up, because this is going to blow back on him. He sentenced this man because this man said to him, called him out in court. Imagine the attorney, the defending attorney, calls out the judge in court and said, "You been having meetings behind my back with the prosecution. How come I didn't know about that, judge?" He basically told the judge, "I even know what was said in the meeting. I know what y'all did. I know they were there." The judge got infuriated. The judge started saying, "Who told you that? Nah. Who told you that? I don't want to hear anything else. All I want to hear is who told you that." Because you see, this is the judge, right? The judge says, because you see, that means I have a mole. That means I have somebody on the inside of my office that is working on your behalf. I got to find out who this is. This is all the judge was concerned about. The judge was not concerned that he himself had done wrong. And this is what Brian Steele was pointing out to him. If you were going to have that kind of a meeting, there was a way under the law in which that meeting could have been had. But the way you've been having that meeting, Judge, it's not the right way to have been having that meeting. You, as the judge, has violated. And based on that, we are asking for this case to be dismissed. The judge got pissed off. I'm not dismissing nothing. Matter of fact, I'm holding you in contempt. And you better tell me who told you that. Brian Steele stood up like a real G. Brian Steele said, I'm not telling you anything. I am not giving you my sources. I'm protecting my source. Now, you know the judge got to be paranoid because the judge is thinking there's 50 people at work in my office, and which one was it? Who is it in here that has been feeding information to the opposition? Brian Steele would not talk. The judge says, I'm giving you to the end of today. If you don't tell me, I'm be holding you in contempt and sentencing you to jail time. Brian Steele said, you know what? You don't even have to waste your time and go that far. I am not going to tell you anything. So you might as well go ahead and do what you got to do. That's when y'all saw the police step forward and took Brian Steele into custody, arrested him in the middle of Young Thug's trial. Fast forward to today. I'm telling you, this whole trial has been a shit show. Fast forward to today, Judge Granville is no longer on the case. He has been replaced by somebody else, who was replaced by somebody else, who was then replaced by somebody else. Did you notice how many times I said replaced by somebody else? Yes, they've switched judges that many times. Always because of an issue. And now we have who we have on the case. So the update news is that Georgia's highest courts on Tuesday reversed the judge's contempt ruling against Young Thug's attorney, Brian Steele, who refused to tell the judge how he found out about a meeting between the judge, prosecutors, and a prosecution witness, which is Woody. Oh my God. Georgia's highest courts reversed that contempt ruling as if it never happened. I'm sure that makes Judge Granville feel stupid. Defense attorney Brian Steele represents the rapper Young Thug, who is currently on trial in Atlanta on numerous charges, including violation of Georgia's anti-racketeering and gang laws. Fulton County Superior Court Chief Judge Ural Granville in June found Steele in contempt and ordered him to spend the next 10 weekends in jail. An order that was put on hold pending Steele's appeal. Yo, Steele is such a G. Steele had one request when the judge said you will be in jail for the next 10 weekends. Brian Steele said, I have one request, Your Honor. The judge says, what is it? I'll see if I can honor it. He said, all I ask is that I'll be placed in custody with my client so that we can continue to work on his defense. Man, listen, if I don't have a lawyer like this, if my lawyer don't have my best interest at heart like this, they just sentenced you to 10 weekends straight in jail, and you talking about you want to come work with me in your time that you're in jail. Man, look, it gets no better than this. So Young Thug, I'm sure his confidence is high and he knows he's in good hands. Steele argued that this information was subjected to attorney-client privilege and that he didn't interfere with the court's proceedings, and that Granville, the judge, was required under due process to recuse himself. Take yourself from the case, from the contempt proceedings, since Steele was accusing the judge of wrongdoing. The Supreme Court Justice agreed with Steele that due process required Judge Granville to remove himself from the handling of the contempt issue. Wow. Now, because the court delayed punishment, the alleged disobedience was directed towards the court, and the court was involved in the controversy that formed the basis of the contempt. Due process required that the judge to recuse from the contempt proceedings. We therefore reverse the contempt imposed by the trial court. Presiding Justice Nels Peterson wrote in a unanimous opinion, Young Thug, a Grammy-winning artist whose given name is Jeffrey Williams, he was charged 2 years ago. This damn trial is still going and has made history as the longest running trial in the history of Georgia. 2 years ago, in a sprawling indictment accusing him and more than 24 other people of compromising to violate Georgia's anti-racketeering laws. He also is charged with gang, drugs, and gun crimes, and he is standing trial with 5 of the others who were indicted with him. Of the over 24 people who were indicted with Young Thug, only 5 others stood with him. Everybody else told, took a deal, pleaded out, all that. Jury selection in the case began in January of 2023, and it took nearly 10 months just to select the jury for this case. Opening statements were in November, and the prosecution has been presenting their case since then, calling dozens of witnesses, and it is said that they have over 100 more witnesses to call at this point. In open court on June 10th, Steele, who is Young Thug's attorney, he told Judge Granville that he had learned of a meeting in the judge's chambers that morning and proceeded to move for a mistrial. In an order finding Steele in contempt and ordering him jailed, Judge Granville wrote that he had serious concerns in how this information was improperly disclosed to Steele. Who the hell told you? Now, while the judge asserted that Steele had information he shouldn't have had, Steele had argued that the information hadn't been declared confidential by any court order. Granville was removed from the long-running case in July over that meeting that he held with prosecutors and a state witness. Another judge granted motion from 2 defendants seeking Granville's recusal or his removal, saying that she did not fault Granville for holding the meeting, but that the necessity of preserving the public confidence in this judicial system weighs in favor of excusing Judge Granville from this case. So in other words, basically they said, we don't really think he did anything wrong, but we're going to take him off the case anyways. Yeah, right. Judge Granville is a military man who has done a whole career, years of military service, and also is a judge. So they hold him at high regard. And they definitely didn't want it to look like they just kicked him off the case because he did something inappropriate. They more like said, you know, this is just to make sure that the public still has confidence in us and how we're handling the case. And since a lot of people saw what happened and felt some way about it, we'll just go ahead and remove him from the case. Bullshit. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Paige Reese Whitaker has taken over the case, which is expected to extend into 2025. This shit started in 2023. I ain't never seen a case go 3 years long with a whole lot of BS in it. Come on now. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me if you think that this case is BS and it needs to crash and burn and be thrown out, or if you think that the prosecutor is on the right track. I'll catch you on the next video. It's BrainFLoTv. BrainFLoTv. Yes, my other channel is BrainFLoTv. You can find me on YouTube over there as well. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on BrainFLoTv / Hot Topics TV. You already know, if the topic is hot, we're on it. I'm out. Peace.